Salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio today by our technical director, Jonathan Voico.
It is I. Hello.
Writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer-Burnett.
Good afternoon.
And, of course, most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. And here's how our show goes. We're going to start off by talking about a bunch of topics we got lined up for you guys from the world of movies and TV. And then in the second part of the show, that's the most important part, is when we take your comments and questions. If you guys have a thought, theory, opinion, or question you'd like us to address, there are two different ways to get a question into us. First, if you're watching this show like 95% of the people who watch our show when we're not live, like you're watching it later in the evening or something like that, you can send in a question using our tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. If you are watching live and you're here while we're doing the show live, like we are right now, you send in a question using the super chat feature in the live chat. And as long as you send in a question via the tip link or in super chats that's appropriate for us to address on the show, we do reserve the right to not answer anything that gets sent in. You'll hear your question addressed in the second part of the show. All right, guys, with that down, let's get things started with this, shall we? On something of a little bit of a different note than what we normally do around here. Of course, the Oscars are coming up this Sunday. Super excited. We're going to give our predictions tomorrow, Rob.
I'm ready.
Oscars, about who we think will win, who we think should win, all that kind of stuff. But you know, we now live in an era where betting and gambling is everywhere. Ever since things like Kalshi and Polymarket have popped up, which literally make it so you can bet on anything. You can bet what color tie is this politician going to wear at their next press conference. When will the government shutdown end? Who will drive, this car to victory? You like literally anything. And of course, as you can see here on ESPN's website, you can bet on the Oscars. You can bet on the Oscars. Best actor, best picture, and best casting, your guide to betting on the Academy Awards. And they give, man, it's kind of small text here, but it's pretty much a guarantee one battle after another is going to win best picture. It's pretty big odds, but then they go down through the odds of everything. If you want to bet on the Oscars, and I'm not going to lie to you, the reason I've thrown this in here today is because a little bit earlier this morning, I won't say who, but a major gambling outfit wrote to me early this morning, and asked me if we could partner with doing some Oscar betting related content. If we can talk about the Oscars, but throw in the betting odds and all that kind of stuff.
It was talk of broken fingers. It'd be a shame if your house burned down.
It'd be a shame if this nice studio of yours, something bad happened to it. And I thought about it, and I didn't really feel comfortable with it. But it does raise a really interesting question. Should we, as movie fans, be gambling on the Oscars? Because I have two minds on this. Because you guys know, like, we've had sponsors on our channel. We've had Sports King or DraftKings as a sponsor. Prize Picks is a frequent sponsor of ours. And like, I'm somebody who believes that adults should be able to do adult things with adult responsibility. I don't drink alcohol. The only reason I don't drink alcohol is because I don't like the taste of alcohol. No other moral qualms. But if you want to look at some of societal's ills, things that have destroyed lives, you don't have to look much farther than alcohol and families that have been destroyed as a result of alcohol. Does that mean we should go back to Prohibition era and just ban alcohol? Well, no, because we believe adults should be able to do adult things with adult responsibility. And if some people abuse that responsibility, should that therefore translate into restrictions on everybody else? You go out to Disneyland and you see a really fat kid. And you see that fat kid and their mom's got a bag of Cheetos in one hand and an ice cream cone in the kid's other hand. Should we not be allowed to eat ice cream? I mean, fatty food leads to, America is the fattest country in the world. I think it's close.
England's catching up though.
Obesity is up there and I'm doing my part, but obesity is up there and causes tremendous health problems, unspeakable things. But should we ban chocolate? Should we ban ice cream? No, because we believe that, adults should be able to do adult things and do so with adult responsibility. I enjoy during the football season and a little bit in the hockey season and basketball season. I enjoy loading up Prize Picks, for example, and putting $5 on whether or not I think Josh Allen is going to rush for more than 1.5 touchdowns. Now, I do that as a responsible adult. I don't bet $500 on that. I bet $5-10 just for fun, interest in. I enjoy it. It's an adult thing that I, as an adult, get to do with adult responsibility. At the same time, are you familiar with CoffeeZilla?
Yeah.
Love him. Love his stuff. CoffeeZilla and others have done a lot of reporting on the damage of online gambling and how precarious it can be and stuff like that. And so I remember thinking to myself this morning, Rob, I thought to myself, I said, you're okay playing a little bit of Prize Picks, DraftKings, putting $5 on something here. Why did I feel this initial recoil to the idea of endorsing gambling on the Oscars? And I'm not here to give you an answer because I don't really have one. But it's like anything else. It's like, I think everything is fine in moderation. Everything is fine in moderation, except cocaine, kids. Don't do cocaine. So I'm asking I'm not here to preach to anybody. I'm asking a legitimate question. Because you might want to say to me, well, John, if like betting $5 on a football game just gets you a little bit more invested in the game, why not $5 on who's going to win Best Supporting Actress? And that's a perfectly fair question. I don't know that I have an answer to it. So, Rob, we haven't discussed this at all.
No.
Is gambling becoming a major problem in our society? Yes. As a matter of fact, I looked up some numbers, Rob. In the U.S. last year, let me see if I can actually bring this up here. Give me 1 second to see if I can. Okay. So if my data is up and correct, in the U.S., you can bring this up, Jonathan. Americans bet $145 billion in 2025. Now you might say, oh yeah, but I'm sure a lot of the one. Well, overall, they estimate $16 billion lost.
I'm in the wrong business.
So, yes, 144 billion or 145 billion was wagered. Some people won, but overall, when you take the wins and the losses, Americans ended up $16 billion in the hole. That can represent a lot of wrecked lives. I happen to have somebody close in my life whose life was borderline ruined because of gambling.
That wasn't me, by the way.
That wasn't Rob. So, it does bring up the question about, is this, first of all, we acknowledge that it is a problem for many people. So should we be engaging in things as responsible adults that are problems for other people? I don't have an answer to that. So Rob, let me just throw it over to you here. The question gets thrown at you, should we be gambling on the Oscars? I don't know. What's your first kind of reaction to that?
Well, okay. When you're gambling on a sporting event, you're gambling on something that you're watching happen in real time and your bet has been placed before the event occurred. Same with like a horse race, or if you're betting on hands of blackjack or you're playing poker. My problem with betting on the Oscars is there's people that already know the outcome. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that anything where the outcome, like right now, look, do I think that are they going to rig it with Polymarket and Kalshi? Are they going to rig it? Probably not. However, it depends how much money is involved. And if there's a lot of money, I don't trust anyone. I just don't. I mean, the human impulse toward getting rich easy or quick is you can never. Well, actually, you can always trust it to trump anything else.
Yeah.
If there is some kind of a way to corrupt a system, and I don't believe that this is necessarily the fault of capitalism. This is the fault of people. Capitalism as a system works just great. It's the exploitation of capitalist systems by greedy people that make it problematic. So I wouldn't bet on anything that I don't watch unfold in real time. I mean, and look, you can go after people that shave points. I mean, they usually get caught because they're watching it. But I mean, I love playing cards. I love playing blackjack. You know, one of the highlights of last year was playing blackjack with Cody Miller the first time we got to Vegas for CinemaCon.
Yeah, that was fun.
I mean, we won $500. It was great. And you love playing poker because there's a charge there as long as you can manage it. But if you're not watching it that happen in real time, I'm not saying Price Waterhouse is corrupt either. I'm just saying that if there is the possibility to make a lot of money, and if you could manipulate Polymarket, someone will figure out how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, think about it that way. The envelopes are sealed, right? You're betting on, if we're betting on the Oscars, you're betting on something that the outcome has already been determined.
Yes.
Right? So somebody sees, hey, one battle after another. Or let's go back over to the Academy here. What if somebody could say, hey, Marty Supreme winning Best Picture is 40-1 right now. That means for every $1 you bet, if you bet $1,000 and you win $40,000. Or screw that. Let's go to Begonia. Begonia is 100-1 right now. Screw that. Let's go even further. Let's go F1.
Man,
F1 is a 200-1 odds. So if somebody who has access to the envelopes.
Yep. You tell your friends
again,
that you have somebody that you don't, somebody on the opposite side of the country.
Yeah. Let's again, we're not saying this is happening,
Nope.
but they see, oh my God, the odds are 200-1. He picks up his phone. Polymarket. Bet, takes everything out of his bank account.
10 grand. So it's like what, 2 million?
10 grand. 10 grand. Slip into the room. Take out one card, put in the next. And all of a sudden you've got ICF1. And F1 is winning Best Picture, even though nobody voted for it. And this guy wins
I see what you did there.
$20 million. Whatever the amount is, whatever 10,000 times 200 is. I mean, again, I'm not saying that will happen, and I'm not saying that's the biggest risk. Because, Rob, whenever we've run Prize Picks, and Prize Picks has been a great partner of ours, and I enjoy using Prize Picks. I have fun with it. $5 here, $10 here. It just helps me have fun. But whenever we have, I've gotten emails from some concerned viewers saying, John, gambling's a real problem in this world. I agree. I don't think you should be endorsing gambling. And I get where they're coming from. I see where they're coming from. Like, so are we contributing, if we talk about betting on the Oscars, are we contributing to the delinquency of America? I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think so, because you're absolving the individual of responsibility, and that's not fair. I mean, I can understand that people have problems, but that's what you do as an adult. You surmount your problems. You fix them. What I would worry about is, someone at Price Waterhouse, let's say there's an upset. Let's say that Marty Supreme isn't going to win or one battle, and somehow Sinners is going to win. If you find out that information, if one person finds out that information, even somebody at Price Waterhouse, without switching anything, I'm not saying you're going to switch something, but if you find out that maybe there's an upset in any category, special effects, some big, or animation, whatever it is, and if it happens to be one upset, and you're able to exploit that because you have prior knowledge, you've upset the whole system. The system is inherently corrupt. If one bet is placed based on previous information, then Polymarket should be shut down. Because if that's one thing, there's other things. And if you can bet on everything, you think they're not going to figure out a way. The first thing people are going to do, if they haven't already, like I signed up for Polymarket, John. And
After you just said this should be shut down.
I just got my thing saying you're no longer on the waiting list.
Yo, there's a waiting list to get on Polymarket.
Yeah.
After that comment, you're not on any
No, they
list.
let me know, but I'm saying that if it can be exploited, if there's a way to do it.
Yeah.
I think that's why, look, betting on things is one thing, but betting on something that someone else already knows that they already know the outcome, and you're betting on that, there's too much potential for.
Now, by the way, I just want to say, like, somebody, when I brought up, like, if we run partnered content with betting on the Oscars, are we contributing to the gambling problem? One of our viewers wrote and said, yes, you're absolutely contributing to it. Okay, I get that, but I posed the question. If McDonald's became a sponsor of ours, are we contributing to obesity and bad health in Americans here? If somebody, I mean, I often use the thing with junk food, but if let's see this. If aviation wants to become a sponsor, I mean, alcohol is legal. People are allowed to drink.
Yeah.
Adults drink. Well, John, you're contributing to alcoholism. I don't know. What can we almost anything that we can sponsor us, we can point to somehow that thing that is sponsoring us could be misused. I don't know. What's one of our dinner?
Factor or
yeah, like Factor, right? Has been one of our sponsors. Mm-hmm. Oh, John, you're contributing to I just don't know. As long as it's adults doing adult things with adult responsibility, and yet I feel a little icky about the idea of doing betting with the Oscars. I just don't know. It's a topic I really got to think about. Anyway, we've spent way too much time on one topic on this. It's just something that was itching my brain this morning because of that situation. I just thought we would talk about it a little bit. Anyway, guys, what's that, Jonathan?
I was just going to say, the safest place to always bet, though.
Black.
Always bet on black.
I knew you were going to have that. I knew you're going to. Always count on Wesley Snipes to sweep in and give us sage advice. All right. With that down, guys, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, there's a new movie coming that James Gunn is working on. I know a lot of people got, oh my God, James Gunn wasn't at the Warner Brothers leadership meeting because he's prepping a movie. He was also not at the Saturn Awards because he's off prepping a movie. That little movie is called Man of Tomorrow, the new Superman movie. And now we know another person who's in it. Hollywood Reporter breaks this morning. Aaron Pierre of the upcoming Lantern series has joined the Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow. The actor is already in the DC fold thanks to his upcoming HBO show, Lanterns. They write the following. In brightest day and blackest night, Aaron Pierre will face the Man of Steel's might. They're very clever. Actually, that's not bad. They did a pretty good job with that. Pierre, who is already playing Green Lantern hero John Stewart in HBO's upcoming DC series Lanterns, is joining the cast of Man of Tomorrow, James Gunn's sequel to 2025 Superman. Gunn wrote the script and is directing Man of Tomorrow, which is due to begin production this summer in Atlanta. They're already heavy in pre-production. David Cornsweet is back as, a Superman and yada, yada, yada. Anyway, okay. Well, I guess we know which lantern doesn't make it out of Lanterns.
No.
You were wondering if Mr. Friday Night Lights makes it out of Lanterns. Maybe not. Or does no mention of Guy Gardner. Does Guy Gardner die in Lanterns? Or is this simply a matter of, no, they're just not in the movie?
I lean toward that. But
yeah,
who knows?
I'm probably leaning. I don't think finding out Aaron Pierre is going to be in Man of Tomorrow is any indication that any of the other Green Lanterns in the Lantern series are not making it out of there. Because you can say, well, why weren't they there? I don't know. Why wasn't Vigilante in Superman? Did he die? No, he just wasn't in it. We could go through that whole song and dance with Marvel movies too. Well, wait a minute. Why wasn't Ant-Man in Thor: Love and Thunder? Did Ant-Man die off screen? No, he just wasn't there. He's off doing something else. It's the same thing we've always had to talk about with these movies. Now, though, does it bring up the possibility that we could see the more veteran Green Lantern die in the series? Oh, I mean, listen.
Yeah.
This is a True Detective, grittier style show. Could I see one of the major characters dying in it? Absolutely. And you guys know I have speculated myself over the past year that, Guy Gardner, that they're investigating a murder. What if it's Guy Gardner that gets offed? What if Guy Gardner's like in the first 5-10 minutes of the show, then a murder happens and they got to go investigate the murder? I don't know that that's what they're doing, but that's the thing I guess. So could one or both of these other Green Lanterns get knocked off? Yes, but I don't think Aaron Pierre joining the cast necessarily means that that's the case. What I think this is more of is that James Gunn is already interconnecting his overall DCU. I think that's what this is mostly all about. And you know what? Bringing in a character from Lanterns is probably brilliant, because Lanterns is going to be completely different than Superman and completely different than Peacemaker. We're going to talk about Peacemaker a little bit later. So to show that you can make in one cinematic universe wildly different things in tone and then still cross them over, I think is pretty key and kind of a foundational thing that James Gunn is doing. So, and listen, Aaron Pierre is terrific. I think he's going to be a great Jon Stewart. And by the way, finding out that he's in this movie does not mean that Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner is not going to be in it. It does not mean the more veteran Green Lantern is not going to be in it. It does. We may find out in the next 2 or 3 weeks, both of those guys are in it too. But for now, we know Aaron Pierre's in there. They're already crossing now over Lanterns with it. I think this is kind of an exciting development. Rob, you read this story. What do you think of it?
Well, I mean, how Jordan could turn into Parallax. You never know what's going to happen in this show. Maybe he flies off to go deal with Sinestro at the end and leaving Jon Stewart behind. Your training's done. You take over. You look after Earth for me while I'm gone. You never know what's going to happen. So I think it's cool that he's in it. I think it makes sense if the threat is indeed cosmic, like I suspect. I mean, Brainiac is a cosmic villain coming from space. You would need some heavy hitters. So I think it's great. I mean, I kind of, to be honest, kind of expected that they would be in the movie, especially if Brainiac is the antagonist, because you'd need some powerhouses to take care of that guy. Brainiac can be dangerous.
Let me put this to you. Give me an over-under number on this. That either or both Hal Jordan and Guy Gardner will also be. We will find out they will also be in Man of Tomorrow. What's your over-under on that?
I'm getting Polymarket up. Hang on.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, especially if the threat is global, we need to muster up some resources to fight this dickhead.
I hope that's an actual line in the movie.
Number. I need an over-under number.
Over 50%.
So you think there's a pretty decent chance?
Yeah.
That we're going to get either or both of them on there. Yeah. I mean, again, I just think when you sit back, James Gunn is doing such a masterful job of putting the DC brand back together after it was completely annihilated and destroyed by the DCEU. And it was, Rob, they had movies that made under $200 million. I mean, the audience just completely abandoned the DC brand because of the DCEU. And James Gunn, I still can't believe how successful Superman was given the crater it was trying to crawl out of. And he's just done such a great job of actually forming and piecing together and shaping this new DCU. And I think crossing over Aaron Pierre into Man of Tomorrow is a good move. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Aaron Pierre, Jon Stewart of Lanterns, is now confirmed from the Hollywood Reporter is going to be in Superman Man of Tomorrow. Now listen, for all we know, it could be like a 2-minute cameo or it could be a major role. We'll find that out soon. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? There's a thing that retail stores have been known to do. They've sold shoes for $50, then raised their price to $75 so that the next day they can put up a thing that says 35% off sale. These shoes now for $50. Well, wait a minute. You were always selling them for $50 and now I'm supposed to feel good about this? John, what does that have to do with anything? Well, that's Universal Studios, ladies and gentlemen. Universal Studios is that retailer who was selling for $50, raised the price, and now are telling you it's on sale for selling it to you for $50. Because according to Deadline, Universal is to extend its exclusive theatrical window for movies to 45 days in 2027.
Wow.
Wow! So you're going to do what everybody else is doing already?
But in 2 years.
Listen, I like Universal Studios. They very much. I like going to their theme parks. I like a lot of their movies. I'm a fan. Don't get me wrong. But I can be a fan and still call you out on your bullshit. And Universal is giving off a strong aroma of bullshit. Because Universal, in this whole, one of the big things that has been destroying the theatrical industry and the movie industry as a whole is the erosion of the exclusive theatrical window. Because the more and more, the shorter and shorter you make that window between when movies are in theaters and when you put it out, the more and more you are training movie audiences to go, oh, we don't need to go see it. Because like in 7 days, it's going to be on streaming, whatever, right? Universal Studios, from my perception and the way I've put this all together and all the facts I look at, Universal Studios has been at the forefront of eroding that theatrical window right from the beginning. Like they were the first ones when they found a willing sucker in AMC's Adam Aaron, who was the first moron to, as a theater owner, to give into Universal's things of radically shrinking the theatrical window. And now Adam Aaron cries, oh, the theatrical windows need to be longer. Well, maybe you shouldn't have been a dipshit and allowed them to close them already anyway. Anyway, neither here nor there. So now Universal's coming out, while the rest of the industry has kind of made 45 days the standard. Universal Studios comes out saying, hey, everybody, good news. Next year, we recognize how important theatrical windows are. Really? And so next year, we are extending our theatrical window to 45 days, just like everybody else. The article over at Deadline said the following. Universal will be extending the exclusive theatrical window for its 2027 movie releases to 45 days, 7 weekends. Deadline has confirmed. This theatrical window will not extend to Universal Focus feature titles, which will still stick at around 17 days. Note, Universal playing movies at 5 weekends exclusively is not new news. The studio's already been doing that for some of its bigger studio fare. During COVID, of course, they laid out their new release thing, and they talk about movies that open to under $50 million go to PVOD faster than those that open to over $50 million. So they're codifying that a little bit now. Donna Langley, who I like very much, by the way. I like Donna. I think she's a great studio executive. The chair of NBC Universal Entertainment made the window plans official in the New York Times this morning. She said this: our windowing strategy has always been designed to evolve with the marketplace. But we firmly believe in the primacy of theatrical exclusivity and working closely with our exhibition partners to support a healthy, sustainable theatrical ecosystem, she said. In other words, we realize now that doing what we've been doing hurts us, hurts our movies, and hurts our industry. Which, when you hurt your industry, you hurt your movies and you hurt yourself. It's cyclical. So, in the world of good news or bad news, this is good news. But don't expect me to give any medals out to Universal for this. I mean, it's like you've got a neighborhood kid punching your kids in the balls once a minute. And then they come back and say, hey, good news. I now only punch them in the balls once an hour. Isn't that great? Aren't I a good boy?
Yeah.
No, you're still an idiot, but hey, at least you're a little bit less of an idiot now. So anyway, kudos for this, but I'm not going to be handing out any prizes to them. But still, Rob, I think, again, this is a reflection of what you and I have been saying for a number of years now, that at some point, and we've seen other studios do it, and we've seen streamers come to this realization too. At some point, they're going to recognize that these shorter and shorter windows and how they deal with theatrical is crippling the industry, and they're going to start to go back to things We've talked about many examples of it happening already. It seems to be happening again. What do you think about this move from Universal? Expected, not expected? What do you think?
Look, I like that they're committing more to theatrical. That's nice. And they're doing it right so they can say they're doing it at CinemaCon. Yay. And I give it up to them. Maybe it's based on projections, the theatrical marketplace getting bigger because of the fair that's coming out in 2026. I would like to think so. But really, the business itself has to pick itself up by the bootstraps. And if they're committing to theatrical, this is a good thing. I mean, ultimately, it's a good thing. Yes, they're going back to the way things was meant to be, like Cyrus and the Warriors. But I'm dubious, John. We'll see. We'll see how they do. They might change their mind if they don't have a very good 2026. I think this is, market forces determine whether or not they're gonna stick to this. I'm glad they're doing this now, but they need to commit to their movies right away and make sure that they can bolster all of their theatrical releases, not just the ones beginning in 2027. They can't just decide, well, now we've got a 45-day release schedule, so we're going to market accordingly.
There might be contractual issues that we're not aware of.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
I would say this too. If they were to say, oh no, we didn't have a very good 2026, what I would say to Donna Langley, again, who I think is a terrific movie exec, I would say, yeah, because you've damaged the industry, you need to now change course and get this fixed. It's like somebody taking heroin and then they stop taking heroin. Oh no, I don't feel good. I better take more heroin so I feel better.
Yeah.
It's like, you see the destructive circle here. And so hopefully, I think they will follow through with this simply because I think they recognize it's in their own best interest. They're not doing this as a favor to anybody.
Right.
They're doing this because they recognize it's in their own best interests. And I always trust corporations to do what's in their own best interest. Unless you're Adam Aaron at AMC who can't tell your ass from the door. Anyway, guys, question is for you. I don't know why I said that. What do you think about this? Universal Studios is saying they are going to go back to a 45-day window, which is what everybody else already does, but hey, kudos to them. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's stop stressing out Jonathan and actually get back on schedule with the topic that we were supposed to just talk
Read
about,
my mind.
but I got them out of order. Steven Spielberg, greatest filmmaker of all time. I'll debate anybody about that. This guy can do every genre in every era, be it comedy, sci-fi, biopic, musical, and all of them will get nominated for Best Picture. That only the greatest filmmaker of all time can do. Well, he's got a new movie coming out called Disclosure Day that we waited a long time to get a little bit of information from. You guys will remember that last month, maybe a little longer, we got the first trailer to it, which was interesting. It was an interesting trailer. Well, today, like this report here from Joe Blow, Steven Spielberg Disclosure Day revealed a new trailer. And it is following the classic pattern that most trailers follow. First trailer, just an introduction. Give you a little sense of tone, just give you some visuals, more of an announcement than anything else. And then once you get to the second trailer, that's where you start getting the meat of it. And while I thought that first trailer was pretty good, I thought it was all right, I thought this trailer was great. And seeing, best actor winner from Kingsman.
Colin
Firth. Colin Firth in this is like, looks so good. Everybody looks fantastic. You got the lead guy from Wake Up Dead Man who looks really good. And now it just gets a little bit more into the thing. There's this secret clearly involving aliens and the whole philosophical struggle. Do we let the world know about it? The world has a right to know, but hey, if you let the world know, you're going to send the world to hell in a handbasket. Like all social order is going to break down and blah, blah. It's a great philosophical question. But I just know I watched this. For whatever reason, the visuals looked a little bit sharper than they did in the first trailer. I can't quantify that. I'm just saying that was kind of my impression from what I was looking at. And overall, Rob, I thought this was a very solid trailer. I had a really good time watching it. And again, the job of a trailer is to take your expectation level, your excitement level, and bump it up a little bit. And I would say this one has done it. It's bumped up my excitement a little bit. Not as much as, say, Obsession. The Obsession trailer did for me yesterday. That was nutty. That took me from a 1 to like an 8.
Yeah.
But I think this was a really good trailer and it did its job. You had a chance to see the new Disclosure Day trailer. What did you think of it?
I agree with you. I thought this was actually a really good trailer. I mean, I felt something watching it. I felt a little awe, a little wonder happening. It made me really, I am very much intrigued by the direction this seems to be going in. You know, I mean, they're obviously saying that, I mean, is that a UFO that's coming out of the clouds? Is it a chariot of the gods? Is it a time ship? What is it? I don't know, but it's going to be really interesting because obviously with the whole UAP thing lately, and a lot of people are talking about this, the fact that we have an Air Force, an admiral, I think, that has disappeared in real life. This is not part of the movie.
Oh, let's not go into this stuff, shall we?
No, a real Air Force has disappeared in Arizona, and it's a big news story. It's not a fake, and they can't find him. They don't know where he is. So I think that
doesn't mean aliens.
No. I'm not saying it does, but he was involved with UAP investigation in UAP, and he was at the Air Force Base. He led the Air Force Base that's traditionally considered a Wright-Patterson, where a lot of this stuff is supposed. But in real life, this guy he in the last 2 weeks disappeared. But I'm looking at this. The one thing that I'm curious about is there's two things happening here. There's obviously some incredible that surveillance set is amazing. And I'm like, what is that? Like what? So you've got the NSA gathering something or other, and then there's the spiritual talking to animals. Here's a cardinal. What's going on here? Why are people changing? Why does somebody turn into Emily Blunt?
As the camera pans behind the one
I would
head,
like that to happen in my own life. Can I make somebody turn into Emily Blunt in front of me? Because that'd be great. But I don't know. So I'm intrigued. This trailer, they brought up Roswell in this trailer, which was something new that they didn't touch on in the last trailer. I think this looks really intriguing. I mean, this is catnip for me. I'll watch anything about UFOs or UAPs or strange phenomenon, anything X-Files adjacent. This looks like the big budget X-Files movie I never got to see.
And by the way, again, just going back to the whole Steven Spielberg angle of it, like I even remember when they announced that he was going to do West Side Story. And full admission here, I crapped on that. I'm like, come on. Like, really, Steven? You've got maybe 8 films left that you're going to do, and you're going to do one on a remake of a musical. Nobody cares. This is going to be stupid. This is going to be dumb. You're the greatest filmmaker of all time and everything, but come on, why are you doing West Side Story? And then I saw West Side Story. I'm like, yep, this should win Best Picture. And it should have won Best Picture. I mean, it did get nominated for Best Picture, got nominated for a ton of Academy Awards, but that's just what Steven Spielberg does. He can take anything. He can go into your fridge, take all of your week's worth of leftovers, and turn it into a Gordon Ramsay spread like nobody's business. That's what Steven Spielberg does. And so as long as he's directing this thing, I'm just going to believe it's probably going to be awesome, and we'll see how it works out. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to see the new Disclosure Day trailer? I thought it was a significant improvement over the last one, and I'm actually now really enticed to see it. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Before Penguin came out, the best DC show ever made was Peacemaker. I'll say it. And again, much like West Side Story, I remember I crapped all over it before it came out. They're making a Peacemaker series? Really? And then they put out the first 2 clips of it. I said, this looks like it was shot on a freaking iPhone. This looks terrible. This is going to be dumb, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I like the character in Suicide Squad, but what are we doing? What are we doing? And then it was awesome. And I absolutely fell in love with it. Now, of course, we just had season 2, another awesome season, but I didn't really like the finale all that much. I thought the finale was completely messy, whatever. Who cares? The rest of the season was great to me. But it ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger. A bit, obviously, with Peacemaker being caught in whatever they called that world, the dimension beyond the door. Sort of thing, what's going to happen? Well, it doesn't sound like we may ever get a Peacemaker season 3 because they may have bigger plans for Peacemaker in the wider DCU beyond his show. This comes to us from the folks over at Superhero Hype, who write the following: Peacemaker season 3 could happen, but it depends on other DCU projects. While speaking with Muse TV at the Saturn Awards 2026, where Peacemaker won Best Superhero Television Series, star Jennifer Holland, who of course is also married to James Gunn, so she would know some things, who plays Amelia Harcourt, was asked if she knew anything about season 3's development. The actress replied that there were multiple interconnected storylines within the DCU. She added that a lot of projects were in development and that James Gunn and the creatives were telling standalone stories that did not require prior viewing to other films/television shows. Because of that, the potential for season 3 of Peacemaker kind of revolves around things that might happen before it, she explained, so we'll see. Now, this goes then back on to something that James Gunn himself said when he was being interviewed. He said, no, this is about the wider DCU and other stories in which will play out right now, he shared. That doesn't mean that there won't be a Peacemaker season 3. I don't want to never say never, but right now, no. This is about the future of the DCU. It's an important character, talking about Peacemaker. So it sounds to me like Peacemaker 3 could still theoretically be on the board as a possibility. But it also sounds to me like James Gunn is looking at big picture. He's not looking at just individual projects. He's looking at the big pictures, which is what he should do as the studio head. And he's seeing we want to use Peacemaker as a character in different ways to help the overall thing, and that doesn't include a season 3 of Peacemaker. The one thing that I really want is to continue to see Peacemaker in the DCU. I mean, even a short cameo in Superman was hilarious. So I want to see him be a part of it. And if James Gunn says, yeah, we've got plans for Peacemaker in the whole DCU, that doesn't necessarily require a Peacemaker season 3. While I would love a Peacemaker season 3, I would be okay with that. And it certainly doesn't sound, even if they ever did do a Peacemaker season 3, it wouldn't be coming anytime soon. So if this is because they just have bigger plans for him, I'm okay with it. Anyway, Rob, you read the interview. How are you feeling? Do you think we are going to get a Peacemaker season 3? Do you think we won't? What do you think about the philosophy they seem to have with it? What's your take?
Look, I mean, I could see them not doing a Peacemaker season 3. I can see them saving the character for the wider. They've got plans. If they start ramping up production, they left him in a pretty intriguing place, and I would love to see where that's going to lead. But I can understand why. I mean, the Peacemaker series, it predates the DCU. You know, they brought it into the DCU, and I think that we got 2 good seasons. I mean, sure, would I like to see a 3rd season? Yeah. I liked both seasons. I really did. So I'd like to see it, but I can understand why they could be wanting to move off of that show and save those characters for something else.
All right, guy. By the way, let me ask you this. We did this with Green Lantern. Over under Peacemaker is in Superman Man of Tomorrow. I'm going to say 85%.
Yeah, I'm going to go high on that.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's a cameo or whether part of it. I mean, I could see that this threat is going to be big, so there could be the need for a lot more characters.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Do you think we're going to get a Peacemaker season 3? Do you think we're going to see Peacemaker in Superman Man of Tomorrow? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's go on over now and play ourselves a little game we call Overreaction. How does Overreaction work? It's simple. We asked you guys on the YouTube channel a little bit earlier to send us some of your hottest of hot takes. Jonathan collected a few of them for Rob and I to adjudicate whether your hot take is an overreaction or not. So, Jonathan, what do you got picked out there?
All right, Rob, first up, is this an overreaction from Modest Shot? Daredevil season 1 through 3 is the best TV show Marvel has ever made.
I don't think it's fair. I'm going to say no, because Marvel Studios, the first 3 seasons were different. It was made by a different division. The Netflix Perlmutter Marvel shows are different. I would say, nah, you know what? I'm just going to say overall, since I'm going to say yes. I don't think that's an overreaction. I think the first 3 seasons of Daredevil quite possibly could be considered the best TV show Marvel has ever made. But the problem is it's different Marvels.
Right.
So Daredevil Born Again is being made in the MCU in its entirety, whereas I think that the other Marvel show was made by really kind of a different division. But let's just call it all Marvel, and I'll say, yeah, that's not an overreaction.
The first 3 seasons of Daredevil on Netflix were fantastic. Love them. But I'm going to call it an overreaction because I think by far and away WandaVision is the best thing Marvel has ever put on television. I just think WandaVision is that good. It is clearly, to me, still the gold standard of everything they've done on Disney Plus as far as Marvel goes. But I'm going to say overall in its totality, I think WandaVision was still the better one. So I will minorly call this an overreaction. All right. What's next?
All right, John, we're going to go over to you. Is this an overreaction? We're going to hear from Dukesta. Doomsday will have the lowest Rotten Tomato critic rating for an Avengers movie.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say when we haven't seen the movie. And I like to give my guess on what the critics' reading is going to be once I've seen the film. But what you're really asking is, will Doomsday have under a 75%? Because right now, that's the lowest rated, critic rated Avengers film. That's quite something. Your lowest one is 75%. That was Avengers Age of Ultron. And that's the worst critically rated one, and it's still 75%. So will Doomsday be below 75%? I'm going to say it's an overreaction to say it's going to be lower than that. I mean, look, anything can happen in the execution. Things can go bad. But what the Russo brothers have put together is an engaging, interesting, wildly entertaining, at least all in concept, film that I think that audiences and critics are actually going to eat up. So I'm not necessarily saying it's going to be the highest critically rated one, but I think it's an overreaction to think it's going to come in under 75%. We'll find out more when we see it. Anyway, Rob, what do you think?
I think it's an overreaction to say it's going to come. Look, I don't think it's going to be less than 75%. I think this movie is going to be epic. And I think one of the misconceptions that we in this YouTube space have is that people are looking at all these plot leaks and everything that's happening, and they're not realizing that you can make any story look a little ridiculous by taking the human element out and just recounting plot points. And I think that the Avengers movies are very much examples of that, because they don't take into consideration, it's the human element that makes the Avengers movies good, like we talked about yesterday. And I think this Avengers movie is going to be quite fun, and I think people are going to really like it.
All right, what's next?
All right, Rob, is this an overreaction? We're going to hear from Dean Talks Movies. Disclosure Day will be Spielberg's biggest box office movie ever.
I think it's an overreaction. I think, even adjusted for inflation, more than E.T., more than Jaws, more than
Jurassic
Raiders
Park.
of the Lost Ark, Jurassic Park, no. Unless Disclosure Day turns out to be one of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah, no, this is a massive overreaction. Like this could be one of the best movies ever made. It's still not going to make $900 million. So when you're saying it'll be his highest grossing one, well, then you got to look at Jurassic Park, which made about $1.1 billion. Disclosure Day is not going to be a $1.1 billion film. It's not going to be a $1 billion film, right? It is not a 4-quadrant movie. It's going to be above some people. That's the wrong way to put it. But it's like the same reasons why I always said long before the first Dune ever came out that Dune is not a $1 billion film, because it's a higher concept kind of sci-fi that just doesn't appeal to as many people. I think the same can be said of Disclosure Day. It's going to make money, but it's not going to make $1.1 billion. So I'm going to call it an overreaction.
All right, John, is this an overreaction? From Darth Tyler, Sinner's Oscar nomination record will never be matched or beaten.
I'm going to call that an overreaction. there is still room for it to be beat. Not much. Now, I believe it's 24 or 26. There are 24 or 26 Oscar categories. It's one of those two, 24, 25, 26, regardless. Now, Sinners just set the all-time record for most nominations with 16. It cannot ever get 20. Let's say the number's 24. It's 24. Okay. It can never be nominated for 24 because it's not an animated movie.
And it's not a short.
It's not a short documentary. It's not a feature-length documentary.
It's not a foreign film.
So, Sinners was eligible for 17 Oscar nominations, and it got nominated in 16 of them. The one it was eligible for that it did not get is Best Lead Actress, because they simply didn't designate anybody as a lead actor. They even ran, I almost said Halle Berry, Haley Steinfeld. They ran her in Best Supporting Actress. So there's still room there. Another film can come along that'll be eligible for 17, maybe even 18, and get it. Because remember, getting nominated is one thing. Winning is completely different. And so to think that no film will ever get a nomination in everything it's eligible for, I don't think that's the case. So I'm going to call this an overreaction. Rob, what about you?
I agree with you. Is it very unlikely? Yes, but I don't think it's an overreaction. I really don't. Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Not to mention, we didn't say this, but if they add categories too, then that kind of changes the game.
Yeah.
Because it opens.
They could add more categories as they go. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Rob, over to you. Is this an overreaction from Kyle Arking? Star Wars Rebels is Disney's best Star Wars project, movie or show outside of Andor.
Look, I have a hard time calling animation and live action the same. I put them in separate categories because I think that the discipline to make live action and to make animation is very different in terms of, creating finished work. So I don't think it's fair to compare and contrast that. That said, I think it's an overreaction because I think Rebels, like, if you think about the live action series that Jude Law was in, that was directed at kids.
Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew, I thought was very good. I don't think necessarily that Rebels is necessarily, you continue on with the characters. But in terms of a show, I don't necessarily think that Rebels is better than Skeleton Crew necessarily. There's a lot of things that Skeleton Crew did that Rebels didn't do.
I'm going to call it an overreaction. By the way, I'm somebody who really likes Rebels.
I like
Rebels.
it too.
I certainly think I'm in the minority with my fellow Star Wars fans because I don't think Clone Wars is very good. Just being honest with you, I think Clone Wars is radically overrated by people. And I thought Rebels, made by the same people, I thought Rebels was significantly better than Clone Wars. I liked it a lot. You already gave the exception of Andor, which is clearly the best thing they've ever done. But the thing is, you're saying best Star Wars project? Nah, man. Rogue One? Are you kidding me? Like, which is different than that. I would even say something along, I would make it very, very close to Skeleton Crew. I don't know if I'd say, I might prefer Rebels over Skeleton Crew, but even in just a world where Rogue One exists, Rogue One is better than Rebels. Also, I might say the first couple of seasons of Mandalorian might be as good as or better than Rebels. And I'd say this as a big Rebels fan.
Yeah.
I really like Rebels, but I'm going to call this an overreaction. All right, what's next?
Here's our final one. John, is this an overreaction from Earl? Masters of the Universe will have a bigger opening as Scary Movie 6.
Oh, Scary Movie 6? What was the opening for Scary Movie 6?
Well, it's not out yet, right?
No. It's Scary Movie 7's out.
Oh, the 7 is coming out.
Yeah,
Okay.
so what was 6? Like,
Scary
no, 7
Movie-
was like, 7 was 66 or 67 million, which was the biggest opening for the franchise. So
He's talking Scary Movie, not Scream. It's Scary.
Oh, Scary Movie.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Scream.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody's thinking.
Yeah.
Then you are right, Jonathan. Scary Movie 6 has not come out yet. Wow, that's a good question because I do not like any of the scary movies. None of them. I don't think any of them are funny. Then I saw the trailer for Scary Movie 6 and I'm like, holy crap, this looks hilarious. And so with Scary Movie 6, you're going to get those people who are fans of the other scary movies. And then you're going to get people like me who aren't fans of the other scary movies, but this one looks irresistible. I don't think Masters of the Universe makes as much as Scary Movie 6 in opening weekend. So what was the question? Masters of the Universe will have a bigger opening. I'm going to say that's an overreaction. I actually think Scary Movie 6 will have a bigger opening weekend. Rob, what do you think?
I got to go the opposite. I'm pulling. I'm pulling for Masters of the Universe.
So am I. I'm excited to see it.
I think it's going to be really big. I think it's going to be really big, and it really depends. I mean, look, these both depend on. I think it's an overreaction to say that Scary Movie is going to outgross Masters of the Universe. I think if anything, it's going to be a horse race. It's going to be damn close. But I think that Masters of the Universe is going to be more. I think people are sleeping on it. I think it's going to do better than people think.
I hope it does.
Me too.
I hope it does. All right, guys. That'll wrap up our little session of Overreaction. Big thank you to all you guys who submitted your hot takes for us. Keep your eyes open on the YouTube channel for when we put out a call for submissions for Overreaction, and maybe you'll see your hot take on the next session. All right. With that down, guys, we're going to do a little program note here. We are going to skip the next topic.
I had a feeling.
We were going to talk about Stewie is getting his own spin-off series from Family Guy.
Aww.
But we are running long today, so we're going to skip that one. Maybe we'll come back to it tomorrow. And we're going to jump right on forward to our main headline story today.
All right.
Which is this. According to reports out there, like this one, Spider-Man Brand New Day and Dune 3 trailers are releasing within the next week. As a matter of fact, my old employer, Complex, they wrote the first trailers for Dune Part 3 and Spider-Man Brand New Day are both expected to drop next week, rumored to be attached with showings of Project Hail Mary.
I love rumors.
So tomorrow, Rob, you and I are going to go see Project Hail Mary.
Yes, we are.
Finally.
Lucky.
I am so excited to see this movie. You got to pick me up, by the way.
I know.
We're going to drive out there. Are we going to go early enough to grab dinner?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that. Anyway, sorry, sidetrack here. So we're going to go see it. And I'm not going to lie that my mouth doth salivate just a little at the even potential that we could maybe get a glimpse of a Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer or a Dune 3 trailer. Now, that's very unlikely, number one, because this rumor might not even be true. But number two, even if it is true, there's a very strong chance that since this is an Amazon advanced fan screening, they may not be showing any trailers anyway. So I'd say it's like in an over-under, it's maybe a 2% chance that we get it. But let's get back to the main thing here. It needs to be said that I had so many people writing to me today, Rob, saying, John, did you hear it's confirmed that the Spider-Man trailer's coming today? Guys, please learn the English language. Confirmed is not somebody saying it. Confirmed is when the people themselves say it. I don't care that Gus's gas station movie reviews.fart said, oh, we've heard. No. Look. Until Sony says it, or Marvel says it, or Tom Holland says it, or Destin Daniel Cretton says it, or whatever, it's not confirmed. It's a report and it's a rumor. So right now, everybody's, John, it's confirmed. No, it's not. It's a rumor and a report. That does not mean they can't be true. Rumors and reports can often come out first and be true before it's confirmed. And so this could be true. Because, Rob, you remember I said, I suspect that before the end of March, we're going to get our first Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. This would be perfectly in line with that. For it to come out right now, perfectly in line. We're within the 5-month window of when the movie's coming out. So we're within a perfectly good time zone for it to drop this trailer. So this is very believable that we finally get the Spider-Man trailer. There's 3 aspects to this. There's the Spider-Man trailer thing. The second aspect is the Dune. Now, Dune is curious because that movie is still one baby away. It's still 9 months out.
Mm-hmm.
And so it might be a little early, but you never know. They might want to get a jump start on getting awareness out there, maybe even promoting a little Doomsday stuff. So it's possible. I think the Spider-Man thing is very likely. The time frame makes the Dune thing a little bit more questionable, but possible. Then there's the third aspect to this. There's a Spider-Man trailer, there's the Dune 3 trailer, and then there's the attaching it onto Project Hail Mary. You guys know as well as I do, that means it'll drop on YouTube ever before it comes out with Project Hail Mary, but it could very well be with Project Hail Mary as well. So we'll have to see about that. So I will give the Spider-Man aspect of this 75% chance. Yeah, I feel pretty good about it because I've been expecting it to drop any day now anyway. So this feels right. The Dune 3 one, I'll go coin toss on this. I'll go 50-50 because, you know, Rob, if they are doing Doomsday, they may be looking at Marvel and seeing they've already started ramping up their marketing machines with the little vignettes they've been putting out and the countdown clocks and all that kind of stuff. They may decide it's time to at least get some awareness out there and put something out. But I'm not feeling comfortable going any higher than 50% on it. But I'll tell you what, if we're sitting in a theater watching Project Hail Mary and we get a Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer and we get a Dune 3 trailer, it's going to be a good day. That's going to be a really good day. Anyway, Rob, you see all this. You buy it? What do you think?
I do buy it. I don't think we're going to get them tomorrow. I don't. I think that the trailers will drop.
Like I said, I'm going to say 5%.
The release of the movie, so next Friday, the 20th is when it comes out. I have tickets to see it again on the 19th. But I will say this. I heard an interesting rumor that there's actually going to be, it was very nebulous. I don't know exactly what it is. Something is happening early next week with the Dune trailer.
Huh.
Something that maybe even Denis Villeneuve will be involved with. That's all I've heard. You know, some, and I don't know if that was in passing. I don't know what that means, but I've heard that there is some event or something going on. They're going to unveil something, the trailer. I don't know. I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know what, but I've heard that happening because it makes sense to me that I would think that Project Hail Mary, obviously with the amount of press it's been getting, all this stuff that it's been generating, I will do you one better, John. I think that not only are we going to get a Dune 3 trailer and a Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer, but I bet you there's a new trailer for Masters of the Universe 2.
I could buy that.
Because
Yeah,
it's an Amazon movie.
Yeah, and it's getting closer.
Yeah,
and it's time
June.
for a second trailer.
Yeah, and they're going to give us something. They're going to give us something epic.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The rumors are, and it is not confirmed. Can we please shut down that? It is not confirmed. Not yet. Not yet. But the rumors and reports are saying that a Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer is finally going to drop and a Dune 3 trailer? Do you find that believable? Are you counting on it? Are you looking forward to them? I know I am. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Let me open up Polymarket here to put my bets on whether or not the Spider-Man trailer comes out. Yeah. All right, guys. With that down, it's now time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your comments and questions. But before we do, we got to do two things. First, bid good afternoon to Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always, my friend. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yes, you will.
And, of course, we're going to take a second and thank the sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at BetterHelp. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. You know, March is a time when we celebrate the women in our lives and recognize everything they carry every single day. Women often take on a lot, and sometimes their own well-being gets pushed to the side. And it's a great reminder of how much women give to the people in their lives. So this month is a great time to pause and reflect on the roles that you carry and the pressures that can come with them. Therapy can be a helpful space to work through those challenges, create balances, and set healthy boundaries so you can take care of yourself too. And that's where BetterHelp comes comes in. BetterHelp connects people with licensed therapists who follow a strict code of conduct. With over 30,000 therapists and more than 6 million people served worldwide, BetterHelp has an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for live sessions based on 1.7 million client reviews. They also match you with a therapist based on a short questionnaire, and if your first match isn't the right fit, you can switch to another from their recommendations. Your emotional well-being matters. Find support and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/Campea. That's betterhelp.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at BetterHelp for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that down, let's get over to your questions here, shall we? We're going to start off with those of you who don't watch the show live and send them in to our tip link. So, Jonathan, what we got up?
First up, iCritic. John, maybe I'm overthinking this, but with David Zaslav's $7 billion back to work comment and the fact that he sold $100 million worth of stock at $28 when he could have waited for Paramount's $31, is he signaling he has no faith in the deal closing?
No, not at all. So, For those of you who don't know what he's talking about, at the Warner Brothers town hall with the Warner Brothers staff that David Zaslav did a week or two ago, the question comes up, well, what if the deal falls through? So he said, well, if the deal falls through, we get $7 billion because Paramount has to pay a breakup fee if the deal doesn't complete. That's $7 billion free dollars. So we get $7 billion and we go back to work. Now, the other thing he's referencing is it came out in the news the other day that because a regulatory window opened that legally allowed him to do so, David Zaslav sold, I believe it was in the neighborhood of $114 million worth of his Warner Brothers stock.
Oh, that could pay some of my debts.
At $28 a share.
Yeah.
Now, you have to keep in mind what wasn't in any of those stories was that only represented about a third of his stock. He still held on to the majority of his stock.
A lot of it could have to do with tax reasons.
There's tax consideration is absolutely one. But here's the other thing. It's also just hedging your bet a little bit. He knows that if he sells that stock now, a certain sum of it, he could get it at $28 a share. So he sells off enough to get again, I'm going to go with the number 114 million. I might be off by a little bit, but I think it's 114 million. So I'm going to sell some of that off and know that I'm getting $28 a share. So that way, let's say the Paramount deal falls through. If it falls through, maybe Warner Brothers stock drops down to $24 a share or $23 a share. So he holds on to the majority of it so he can get it at $31 a share, but he knows he can get $28 a share if he sells some of it right now. I'll give you a little insight into my own personal investing. Okay. Again, this is not advice. This is just what I do. I have this one ETF called SCHG. That's the stock symbol. And it's a growth ETF, blah, blah, blah. It's projected to go up like 20% over the next year, right? 20%. So I've got some money in that. But I also have a good chunk of my money in a treasuries ETF called SGOV, SGOV. It only pays about 3.5%. So you might say, well, John, if they're thinking this one ETF could go up 20% over the next year, and this other thing is only giving you 3.5%, why do you have any money in that 3.5%? Because I'm hedging my bets. It's a safety net.
Right.
That, like, the stock could go up as your current president is ruining your country and taking into wars and stuff like that, and the stock market's crashing like it is right now. My SCHG is going down right now. But you know what isn't going down? My SGOV. My SGOV doesn't go up. It doesn't go down. It just stays where it is and makes me 3.5%. So could I make more money if I moved the money from SGOV into one of my other higher yielding ETFs? Mm-hmm. Yes.
But then your risk
maybe. But I like to keep a little bit of a side just in case things go bad with the other stocks, because that stabilizes my overall portfolio. We bring this back to David Zaslav. he saw an opportunity. It's like, listen, I've got all this stock. I can sell a portion of it right now at $28 a share. Great. I'll sell about a third of my stock at $28 and hold on the rest for the hopefully $31 that we sell it to Paramount for. But if something goes wrong, then at least I've got this. So you see what I'm saying? So no, I don't think it indicates that David Zaslav doesn't believe that the deal's going to go through. I think he's just understands that it's possible that the deal not goes through and he's prepared for it. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Imagine if this doesn't go through with Paramount and they're out basically over $9 billion between the Netflix and the Warner Brothers, and they're already in debt. Oh man.
Yeah.
We got Elijah Brewer, who says, "Hey John, big fan. With Endgame re-releasing, what are the chances it beats Avatar and can become the first $3 billion movie? Thanks. Go Pack Go."
Which movie?
Endgame. Oh no, wait. With Endgame releasing, I think they meant Doomsday.
Okay. Oh, no. I think he means Endgame.
Oh, re-releasing.
Yes. Well, I mean, listen, let's go. We've done this already before, but let me go over and take a look at it. Avengers Endgame box office. Okay, so Avengers Endgame right now is sitting at 2.79, let's say 2.8 billion at the box office.
Boy.
It's not going to make 200 million, and re-releases don't make that much. Like
on a wild end, you're like 80, 90 million.
Yeah, like I think it can make like 40, 50, 60, 70 million dollars.
Huge, yeah.
For it to make over 200 million,
oof,
when people could have already seen it many, many, many times, and it's available to watch on Disney Plus right now for free. I mean, I'm going to go back to see it in theaters again, but $200 million worth? No, I don't think so. I mean, it's not impossible, but you're asking me what I think, and I don't think it will.
That's got to be a
not
record.
200 million.
That would be a record broken in and of itself.
Yeah, that would be an all-time record.
Yeah.
And I don't see it happening.
All right, we got Jay Luis who says, "Hey John, as someone thinking about making the switch, is there any part of you that regrets making the switch from iPhone to Android and leaving the iOS ecosystem? Come on over, man. It's nice and warm."
No, I have been dreaming for 5 years of getting out of the hellscape that is iPhone.
I love my Android.
Listen, I have a MacBook in front of me. I've got an iPad in my room, and I got Mac computers all around here. I love a lot of things Apple. Like I said, my computer is it. My tablet is an Apple. My main computer is an Apple. I love my Apple stuff. I really, really do. But iPhone is a hellscape. And I've hated every day that I had to use it. So I finally found sweet salvation going over and getting my Fold 7 gloriously back to Android. And you know what? Here's the great thing. There are many different things that I use, whether it's Snapdrop or a lot of other things. I can AirDrop between my Mac computer and my Android phone. Because of Google Messages, I can get my text messages on my phone and on my Mac. And they're both connected to my home server. So I have my own server at home set up. And so all the advantages of iPhone working within the so I'm still very much in the Apple ecosystem, right? I'm still very much in the Apple ecosystem with all my other devices. This is my only device. This right here is my only device that is not in the Apple ecosystem, but it works very well with the Apple ecosystem. So no, all I can say is glory, glory, hallelujah. I'm finally free of the iPhone. Finally free. Anyway. All right, what's next?
Christian says, "I saw on Facebook that Ryan Reynolds wants a Logan-style farewell movie for Wesley Snipes' Blade. If this is true, would you like to see this? Oh, and apparently Doomsday needs to make $2 billion to break even, as it will cost $1 billion with marketing."
Okay, that's not true. Just so you know, it's not true. Even if it did cost $1 billion with marketing, which it will not, the most money Marvel has ever spent on a marketing campaign was Avengers Endgame, where they spent $200 million. All right. The budget for Avengers Doomsday is not $800 million. Okay. Just wherever you're reading that bullshit from, you need to stop reading them, because that's just not true. But even if And it's not going to come anywhere close to $1 billion. Even if the marketing and production equaled $1 billion, then you need to multiply that by 1.5. There's this Mandela effect out there where everybody seems to think wrong. They're wrong. They're all wrong. That a movie needs to make double what its production and marketing budget is. It does not. It needs, the actual math is production budget plus marketing budget, multiply that by 1.5. So even if Doomsday was costing $1 billion to make and market, then the break-even point would be 1.5 billion. Anybody else who tells you different doesn't know what they're talking about. I got that information directly from the executives at AMC. Okay, directly from the biggest movie theater chain in the world. So that aside, and it's bullshit that it's going to cost $1 billion to make and market that movie. No, it's not. At most, maybe 600 million if it's like the most expensive movie ever made. But at any rate, getting back to the question. No, I don't believe that report at all. I do not believe that Ryan Reynolds. Now, would Ryan Reynolds have said in an offhanded comment, man, they should give Blade the Deadpool treatment or the Wolverine treatment. They should give Blade the Wolverine treatment. I could see him making a comment like that out of hand, but to say, yeah, I'm in the, I've got a job here. I got a mission. I want to get a Blade movie made that gives the Logan treatment to Blade and gives this great send off for Wesley. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And honestly, I don't think a lot of people would go see it. I know there are people in our circles that would be like, yeah, but really the mass movie going audience, there wouldn't be a lot of interest for people to go see it. I mean, there just wouldn't be. So I don't believe the report myself. Now, would I go see Wesley Snipes playing Blade one more time? Yes, but I don't think a lot of other people would. All right, what's next?
All right. Bobbles Pobble says Masters or Princes of the Universe. Brian May of Queen, who co-wrote music for the classic Highlander, is now working on Masters of the Universe. That's cool. Does this increase your interest in He-Man? Will Henry's Highlander get Queen? Does it need it? Helander. Hashtag Helander.
No, doesn't increase my interest at all. It's one guy. And look, I hate to say it, but like Queen isn't Queen without Freddie Mercury. I mean, what I mean from that is from a historical standpoint. I mean, when I think of Queen, I specifically think of Freddie Mercury.
The sound of Brian May would be cool, though.
Yeah.
But it's not like a, yeah.
So, like, do I think that's interesting? Absolutely. Does it move the needle for me? No, not really. You know, it's funny. I say that, but I just said that thing about Queen. So let me contradict myself for a minute. You know, Linkin Park last year put out a new album with a new lead singer, replacing Chester. And I fucking love it. I love the new Linkin Park. It's different. It's different than when Chester was alive, but you know, Chester chose to remove himself from the board. Linkin Park went on. They got themselves this girl who's got the best pipes. I mean, just pure power. I'm not saying she's the best female vocalist in the world. I mean, you still got to look at people like Celine Dion and things like that for that. But I mean, when it comes to pure power, this girl, I can't remember her last name. It's Emily something, but who's the new lead singer of Linkin Park, is fantastic. So I just said, you know, Queen's not Queen without Freddie Mercury. And yet, like, Linkin Park to me is as good as ever with Emily. So that's a little bit of a contradiction, I acknowledge. But yeah, anyway, so no, this news doesn't really move the needle for me, although it is interesting. All right, what's next?
All right, we've got, switching over to supers here. Luis Hernandez says, I love the MCU movies, but I always felt that their hand-to-hand combat scenes are bad. Like Steven Seagal movies, no, not even close. No technique. That dude fights in a chair. Come on.
Yeah. You know what? But I don't think you're wrong. Like, I think there are exceptions.
Sure.
Like the Shang-Chi fight scene on the bus. I'll put that up with anything. I love that fight sequence is amazing. But you are right. for the most part, the hand-to-hand fight sequences in the MCU have been okay. Like the elevator scene in Winter Soldier with Cap in the elevator, and he says, "Before we begin, would anybody like to get out?" Like that was a pretty good one too. But yeah, you're right. I think overall they've been a little bit lackluster in the quality. You know, where it was really noticeable, Jonathan? Captain America 4, the most recent Captain America with Sam. That was not great hand-to-hand combat stuff. Yeah. But again, there are exceptions. The elevator fight, Shang-Chi's bus fight scene. Yeah. All right, what's next?
We got Jay Weiss, who says, "Hey team, love the show. Do y'all have a favorite movie score you like to exercise to? My best workouts are when I'm listening to Man of Steel."
It's often Man of Steel. What are you going to do when you're not saving the world? That and the original, not the one that was out a few years ago. I'm talking about the one that was out 25 years ago, 30 years ago, whenever it was. Mortal Kombat soundtrack. Yeah. The original Mortal Kombat sequence. Juke joint Jezebel's coming for my... Yeah, anyway, so original Mortal Kombat soundtrack. There you go. All right, what's next?
Yanni says, dreamed Spider-Man Brand New Day and did not like it. He didn't like his dream of the movie.
I mean, a lot of comedians since have kind of retold a separate joke, but I remember the first time I heard it, Ray Romano, who's really funny. He's not one of my favorite comedians, but he's really funny. I remember like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, hearing Ray Romano say this joke, and it hit so close to home. He said, "My wife got angry at me this morning for something I did in her dream. And I have learned, as a guy who has woken up several times to Anne giving me a dirty look, that's totally true. It's totally 100% fact." So yeah, but don't hold it against them. Do not hold it against Spider-Man that it wasn't good in your dream. All right, what's next?
PNH says, I can't remember, but will you be going to CinemaCon? Oh, yeah. I just read they will be previewing Godzilla Minus Zero and the new Resident Evil movie.
Yeah, there's some whispers. I don't think they've confirmed that they're showing the whole thing. I might be wrong about that, but anyway, absolutely 100% yet. Yes, we're going to be at CinemaCon. We've already got the hotels. Everything's ready to go. I'm excited about it. Cannot wait. You know what we got close to doing? We almost had Aaron Cummings come. I was talking to Aaron Cummings. For those of you who watch my show for a while, you know Aaron. I was talking to Aaron and we were trying, because she lives out in New York now, and she wanted to come, and her wonderful husband, Tom. I invited both of them to come down, and they wanted to come, and they were trying to make it happen, but they have 2 kids now, right? So they're trying to work it out. So one of their parents could come out and watch the kids while they came to Vegas, but we weren't able to make it happen, unfortunately. It would have been so much fun to have Aaron and Tom there, but unfortunately, but I will be there. Rob will be there. Ann will be there. My buddy Soul is going to be there. So yeah, we are definitely going to CinemaCon. All right, what's next?
Salsa Boy says, might not be appropriate, but how do you keep a positive attitude when given the current state of the world? Going to 3 to 4 movies a week and listening here daily helps. Just curious if you have any tricks.
I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes things going on. I mean, in many ways, and it's not just one group of people. I mean, I'm talking about everybody. I mean, people I don't like, people I like. It often feels that we live in idiocracy. And it's a lot, man. I'm not going to lie. There's some days I look at the whole big picture. I'm like, what the hell is going on? How are we ever going to get out of this hole that people are digging us into? And it's rough. But to me, the big thing that I always think about, not just when I think about the world as a whole, but also personal things and whatever, is I go back to that Tom Hanks movie, Castaway. And there's a truth in that movie that I have found over and over and over again has proven to be true, which is near the end of it. Some of you have heard me tell this story before, but near the end of Castaway, he's already been rescued. He's off the island. And somebody asked him, I'm paraphrasing, how did you keep going? Like with being alone and everything looking bleak, and like, how did you keep going? And throughout the movie, as he's trying to survive, every once in a while, something from that downed FedEx plane would wash up on the shore and he'd find something in it that could help his situation, right? So he says, you never knew what was going to come in on what would be on the shore in the morning, what the tide would bring in tomorrow. You just never knew. And that is a truth I find in life as a whole. That while we are all very well aware that that life could go very badly tomorrow, like tomorrow anything could happen where things will suck. But the opposite is also true. That no matter how awful or sucky or whatever our personal situations or bigger situations feel like in life, something can wash up on shore tomorrow that completely changes it for the positive. Both are true in life. And I think it's easy for us to always be aware that things can go really badly tomorrow, but things can improve in wildly unexpected ways tomorrow too. Just get through today and get to tomorrow.
Right.
And I found that has been proven true in my life, and in life in general over and over again. So that's how I do it. I like, even when things suck, whether it's in my personal life or in the world as a whole, I just remember thinking, you never know what's going to wash up on the shore tomorrow. Everything could be a lot better tomorrow or worse. But I mean, I've just found both to be true.
I also find that not allowing the exterior forces to outweigh the interior forces, and focusing on having empowerment and improving yourself in many ways. And no matter what that is, mental health, exercise, friendships, your relationships, whatever that is, career, and don't let the outside forces compress you so much that it's everything.
I also do want to say, and at the risk of this sounding like a cheap plug of a sponsor, forgive me. You guys know I never do this, but just forgive me. But don't ever feel like you need to just deal with it on your own. Like, I think it's really important to talk about mental health. Like, if things start to get heavy, talk to somebody. And I say this in our ad spots a lot, like whether it's BetterHelp or a local therapist or whatever, I say this all the time. Like, we cheer each other on about going to the gym to get ourselves, physically more in shape. Well, we need to cheer each other on as well to take care of ourselves mentally as well, to get ourselves better mentally in shape. We should cheer each other on for that. And so I would, say if things start to get heavy, don't just suck it up. Like, talk to somebody. It's important, and I think men especially need to take advantage of that. Anyway.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
We got Antoine Barnes. Hey, John, love the show. Have you seen the trailer for Desert Warrior? Stars Anthony Mackie and Ben Kingsley. In theaters in April. Completely flown under the radar for me. Captain America and Trevor Slattery.
I'm going to tell you what, this is more than under the radar for me. I don't think I've even heard of the project.
Nor have I. Desert Warrior.
Let alone watch the trailer for it, but thank you for putting it on my radar. I will go seek it out after the show is done.
We got Sam Fisher, who says, went to Regal the other day. They advertised the Oscars airing on Hulu. It made me think, has the Oscars ever been exhibited in a movie theater?
I'm sure it has in some
think
local
so.
theater or something, some closer, but like not Regal cinemas across the states. Come to a Regal cinema and watch the Oscars. I could see doing that for a football game. I love the Oscars. I don't think I'd want to go watch it in a movie theater.
It might be fun, honestly.
Might be, but to me, part of the Oscars is also just getting with your friends.
Yeah.
Bringing out all the drinks and food and betting on Polymarket.
Yeah, I was gonna say, get your Polymarket out on your phone. Like, let's go.
So I'm sure the odd theater here and there has done it in a local community, but I don't think they've done it on a larger scale. I don't know if they would, but it's an interesting thought. All right, what's next?
Jose says, how long have the three of you known each other? I'm assuming he means with Rob too.
Yeah, well, gosh, Jonathan, you and I
want to say 2014.
I thought you were going to say 20 years. I'm like, it hasn't been 20
No,
years. But yeah, like
2014.
12, 13 years. And Rob and I we just celebrated an anniversary of the first day we met and did an episode of Heroes together.
Yeah, I remember the day he came in. I was the technical director on that episode.
It might have been 7 or 8 years ago now.
And that was technically his first foray into YouTube that day.
Yeah, it was his first time on YouTube. Yeah. All right, what's next?
Jay Pinnock says, will trailers play at early showings of Project Hail Mary?
You know, we were just talking about that. I've been to some of these early fan screenings where they have played no trailers, and I've been to some of these early fan screenings where there have been trailers, which sucks because it means that I got to be in that theater at 7:00. Normally, I try to show up 25 minutes after that to let the trailers be done because movie theaters steal our time. They steal. Make no mistake about it, guys. You paid for a seat. You paid for a movie. You paid for that seat.
Right.
And when they waste 20 minutes of your time shoving commercials in your face, that is them stealing from you. They are stealing from you. But anyway, so I normally try to show up about 20 minutes late, but I simply don't know if they're going to be showing any trailers in front of Project Hail Mary tomorrow. So I got to be there at 7. All right, what's next?
All right. I'm going to switch over here because these are the supers that came in after the whole debacle. Let's see. It says, this is from, sorry, I just lost my place. Hollow Lord. Hi, have you seen the Handmaid's Tale spin-off trailer?
I didn't even know they were doing a spinoff to the Handmaid's Tale. By the way, that was a really good show. It petered out a little bit near the end, but overall, that was a really, really good show. I also call Handmaid's Tale Donald Trump's America. But it was a great show. Like I said, petered off near the end a little bit, but I didn't even know they were doing a spinoff.
I didn't either.
All right, what's next?
Mr. Moore, heading to see Project Hail Mary with my daughter tomorrow. Can't wait. Big fan of all you guys. Keep it up.
Dude, I cannot even start to tell you how excited I am to watch this movie tomorrow. I am so freaking stoked to go see this tomorrow. But you know what sucks? Ann and I also had tickets to see it at another advanced screening on Sunday.
Yeah.
But it's when the Oscars are on. So we had to cancel our tickets today for that.
I'm not seeing it till next Thursday. I think Christian went and saw it. He gave it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people really liking it.
Big
All right, what's
Cookie
next?
Says, what do you think about HBO's new weekly slate? DTF St. Louis starring Jason Bateman and David Harbour. Rooster starring Steve Carell, Bill Lawrence. I'm a fan of both.
Yes, I have not. By the way, has Rooster started playing yet?
I don't know if Rooster started.
I don't know if it started yet. I'm planning on watching both of them. Both of them look great. I remember watching the trailer for DTF St. Louis, gosh, over a month ago and going, that looks really good. So I've not started watching either of them, but I am very much looking forward to watching both of them. All right, what's next?
Amin says, over under 35%, Conan makes a Chalamet ballet opera joke.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, there is nothing more ridiculous in the world than the fact that people have artificially manufactured what Timothy Chalamet said about opera and ballet into an issue. He's just a dude who made a comment about, the state of ballet and whatever. And like everybody's decided to clutch their little pearls. I mean, it's just what was some random guy giving a fairly accurate statement about something. Doesn't mean that has to be the philosophy. It's just so crazy. But 100% he makes a joke about it. Has to.
Yeah.
Has to make a joke about it. All right, what's next?
Animesh says, my thoughts after watching the Disclosure Day trailer 1, I absolutely love it. The second one, what the hell?
I didn't absolutely love the first one, but I thought it was very good. But yeah, I thought this new one it's getting me now legit excited for it. And I should be anyway, just because it's Steven Spielberg, but I thought it was a really, really good trailer.
And then we got Stone Cold, who says, let me shift this over here. Stone Cold, who says, hashtag fire Tom Holland and restore the Snyderverse. Yeah, I don't think it'll happen.
I mean, hey, idiots, morons are allowed on the internet too. All right, what's next?
We got Disney Gifts by Bryce. Do you think it's a bad sign that Daredevil is coming out in 12 days and there seems to be no hype for it? Or is it because of the disjointed season 1?
First of all, Daredevil, I thought Daredevil season 1 was really good.
I did too.
And listen, it is never a bad sign. Like marketing and whatever it's never a bad sign when there's not marketing there. It's a bad sign when studios feel like this thing sucks, we need to market the hell out of it. I mean, it can go either way. So it is, I would say it is neither a good sign nor a bad sign of anything. Like, I don't know. I get a lot of people every day writing in and asking about Daredevil, so I wouldn't say there's no hype for it. I don't see a huge marketing campaign for it, although they did drop the trailer the other day, and we talked about it on the show. It was quite good. So in measuring hype, I mean, like I said, I have thousands of film fans writing into me every day, whether it's to email or on social media or in our comments section, whatever. And I'm getting a lot of people asking about Daredevil. So I think the hype is there. All right, what's next?
All right, we got Reza, who says Monsters Inc. 3 prediction: a struggling employee wants the company to go back to screams after the transition to laughs, and the duo must stop them.
You know, it's funny. I had that exact conversation with somebody the other day when Monsters Inc. came out. It's like, it's probably going to be about not wanting to go back to making it a fear-based thing. It's been long enough. They could do that. And I'm not saying that's what the story will be, but I think that's got as good of a chance of being the plot as anything, for sure.
We got X-Men superfan. Katharine Hepburn, Meryl Streep, and Bette Davis are people with most nominations in Oscar history. So is it non-controversial to say that they are the best actresses of all time?
I'm going to say something that will get me in, that shouldn't bother anybody because it's just a one person's opinion, but I'm sure will rub some people the wrong way, the way they manufactured fake outrage over Timothée Chalamet, which is actresses in the era of Katharine Hepburn weren't as good as today. They absolutely I'll give you a great example too. Gordie Howe is a legendary hockey player. I know a lot of people wouldn't know it, but Gordie Howe is a legendary hockey player. And in terms of where he stood in relation to his contemporaries, one of the greatest ever. But if you try to just take Gordie Howe from that era and drop him into today's NHL,
right,
I don't think he would keep up very well.
Mm-hmm.
The talent has evolved. The conditioning has evolved. Skills have evolved, standing on the shoulders and building off the success of generations that have come before. So I think Meryl Streep is the greatest actress of all time. And that's not just because of her Oscar nominations. The Oscar nominations are just a reflection of that greatness. They don't cause her greatness. They're not why she's great. They're just a reflection of the fact that she's that great. But I would say that there are actresses today that are better actresses than Katharine Hepburn. But again, you look at people like Bette Davis, like Katharine Hepburn, like that era, that there are actresses who stood so far ahead of their contemporaries. But it's a different measure. That's why it's very difficult in acting, in film, in sports. It is very difficult to compare athletes from different eras.
Mm-hmm.
It's extremely difficult to do it because you can get into this non-ending loop of subjective arguments. But no, I would not say that any of the Hepburns or Bette Davis are amongst the greatest actresses of all time. They are certainly amongst the most iconic of all time, but I wouldn't necessarily say the best of all time. I think there are several actresses today that outshine them. I do.
You've got to look through a different lens. If one of them acted today, people would be like, yeah, that was a good performance, but it was a tad melodramatic, you know?
Like somebody just brought up in the live chat, Uncle Jimmy Jam in the live chat, saying I'll say Cate Blanchett is a better actress than Bette Davis or the Hepburns were. She is.
Yeah.
Why am I freezing on her name? She was just in The Roses with Benedict Cumberbatch. Olivia Colman? Is that what it is? Yeah, I think Olivia Colman is a better actress than Bette Davis or the Hepburns were.
Right. And she was in The Crown, right? That was same actress.
Yeah, she's also in The Crown. Yeah, she's like I think a 3-time Oscar nom. Anyway, so there's that. All right, what's next?
Amin says, happy 2 years of I See Oppenheimer.
I see Oppenheimer.
Yeah, that's right. This is going to be the second anniversary of that. Crazy.
X-Men Superfan says, do you like the Christopher Nolan and Hathaway team up? They're going for their third collab.
Well, I mean, look, I was skeptical I think she's a terrific actress. Obviously, she's an Oscar winner. But I was still skeptical when they cast her as Catwoman. I wasn't really sure about that. But guess what? She was the best part of Dark Knight Rises.
What's the other one?
Interstellar.
Yes, of course.
And now she's got the Odyssey.
Okay.
I mean, but here's the thing. She's never been the lead in any of his films, right? So it's hard to really look at them as a collaborative duo when like Hathaway's never been the actual lead.
Right.
But maybe she will, because listen, Murphy was never a lead in any of Nolan's movies until Oppenheimer. So it'll be interesting to see if she ever does like get a lead in one of Nolan's movies.
What I appreciate about his films are that although he does stick with a cast that he's familiar with, there's a lead for every one of his cast members, it seems. It's not like a Scorsese who it's pretty much always, it was either De Niro or then Leonardo DiCaprio later on. But I mean, he has a person in mind for a lead for a different film every time.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
By somebody in the live chat saying, yeah, but she was the lead in Princess Diaries. No, listen, Anne Hathaway was the lead in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
We're talking specifically with Christopher Nolan.
Right.
Which I'll have to double check my facts, but I'm pretty sure Christopher Nolan did indeed not direct The Princess Diaries.
Well, that was a trippy movie, man. I think he did.
All right, what's next?
Christopher Brickner says, halfway through Guy Ritchie's Young Sherlock Holmes show, and I'm really enjoying it so far. Very reminiscent of RDJ Sherlock Holmes films.
Yeah, I mentioned this yesterday. I totally didn't even realize it dropped yet, but I am very interested in watching, especially after watching The Gentleman.
Yeah.
I want to go and check it out, so I'll have to get on that soon.
All right. I think we have 5 more here.
All right.
Seconds from Disaster. Since Paramount stupidly let Taylor Sheridan walk, I mean, if it's his choice, where does that leave the 4/6's show, since it's his show and it's a real ranch that Sheridan owns?
There is no 4/6's show. Did they ever air a season of 4/6's? I don't think they have. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that, and it went way under the radar, but there isn't a 4/6's show. So I would think that kills it. Now, Taylor Sheridan cannot now go. Where did he end up? Universal?
Yeah.
Or Warner Brothers?
Now I can't recall.
I think it was Universal.
Yes,
I think that's where he
so.
ended up. I could be wrong about that, but let's, for arguments right now, say Universal. What he cannot do is make Yellowstone universe content at Universal. So I don't think he's going to be able to make a 4/6's show at Universal, but I don't think they can make one at Paramount without him. All right, what's next?
X-Men Superfan asks, what's your favorite jukebox musical?
I don't even know what a jukebox musical
That means
is.
it like uses, so like something like Mamma Mia or A Knight's Tale.
In that case, then that's easy. Moulin Rouge.
Okay, yeah. Something
Yeah.
like that, or even A Knight's Tale was really well, where it uses popular music and that, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that a musical, though. I wouldn't call
That's
it Knight's
true.
Tale.
It wouldn't be a musical, but
yeah,
there are numbers.
Yeah, for me, that's easy. Moulin Rouge. It's actually musical or not. It's in my top 20 all-time favorite films.
Then we got Ethereal something dog. Finally got around to The Pit, and holy crap, I usually don't care for the medical dramas, but this had me on the edge of my seat from the start.
I'll tell you what, man. I'm like you. I'm like everybody. The Pit came out, and everybody started talking about it. I'm like,
The real sly dog.
It's another medical drama. Who cares? And then I watched it, and I'm like, oh my God. Every time an episode ends, me and Ann both go like, ah, why are you ending right there? It's kind of like 24 in that it's done in real time. Like it's a 14-hour shift or however many episodes it is. And it's hour by hour. And it's, if you guys haven't started watching The Pit, it's amazing. There's a reason it's winning all the awards. Like not some of them, not a lot of them. It's winning all the awards. Hell, I think there's a chance it might win Best Picture at the Oscars on Sunday. Like that's how many awards this television show is winning. You got to watch it. That and Shrinking. Like just 2 things you have to watch. Anyway, what's next?
We got some support from Steve Irby.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
Then Tim Hoffman says, hi, John. I was excited to catch an early screening of Project Hail Mary with a live Q&A from Lord and Miller. Such amazing people. Now I really need to see their solo cut. That ain't gonna happen.
No, that's not going to happen, and it probably shouldn't. Because I think that, listen, I love Lord and Miller, absolutely love them. You guys know that I do, but that is something where they drop the ball. But we'll move on from that. Kind of jealous that I know some people have already seen Project Hail Mary. That's fine. I'm just totally excited that I get to see it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've been counting it down ever since I saw that first presentation at CinemaCon a year ago. I'm like, oh my God, this looks insane. And then I read the book 3 times, and now here we are, and I'm finally going to get to see tomorrow. I cannot wait.
Cool.
All right. Was that it?
One more, final one. TJ, I know it won't ever happen, but I want a Ryan Coogler Static Shock movie. James Gunn, give me Static Shock, please.
Well, Ryan Coogler's never going to do a Static Shock movie. That's ridiculous. I don't really care about the Static Shock character, to be honest with you. But I will say this. He is the kind of character that James Gunn just seems to love to use.
Yeah.
He loves finding these characters that aren't necessarily a part of the bigger, broader pop cultural consciousness, but he finds richness in those characters, and he doesn't care if they're not popular or that not a lot of people know about them or whatever. And he takes them, and look what he did with Polka Dot Man.
I know.
Or Peacemaker or Ratcatcher. Like, he just was able to do, or King Shark even. He was able to take those and make these incredibly emotionally resonant things. So Ryan Coogler will never do that, but I could see James Gunn, like, maybe not a Static Shock movie, because I don't think anybody's going to go see it, but I could absolutely see James Gunn bringing Static Shock into the DCU and do something really special with it. So I could see that happening. All right, guys. And that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those questions to our tip link, to our super chats. It's awesome. Number one, because you gave us fun, interesting things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. Don't forget, guys, we'll be back again tomorrow. I'm so excited, man. Tomorrow I'm going to see Project Hail Mary. Can't wait to do my out of the theater reaction of it. And until then, big thank you to Robert Meyer Burnett, to our technical producer, Jonathan
See you
Boyko.
guys.
My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.